Thanks for being with us. The program is still This Morning on ITV, commonly referred to as TMI. The TMI means This Morning on ITV, broadcasting from your darling station, independent television located here at the hilltop of Umpapi Hill in the nation's capital city, Abuja. My name is Iharo Atta. You can watch ITV Abuja on Star Times channel 130. You can watch on your darling station as well on the new digital terrestrial broadcasting platform, the Free TV, channel 505, on the conventional terrestrial broadcasting free-to-air platform on UHF 42, and you can follow us through our social media platform. It's now time for us to talk aviation. You know, when you are flying, when you're cruising, sometimes you wouldn't know that there are much that goes on around the plane than just sitting down, fastening your seatbelt, and waiting for when the guys and the ladies will come around and serve you tea and serve you snacks and serve you food, and you want to watch your films. There's so much going on beside what you are expecting that sometimes if you're not careful you would not know. But we're lucky and opportune that we got someone in-house here who someone asked me, what is this man's benefit? What is this man benefiting from all of this? Every time we want to teach you about the aircraft, we want to teach you about flying, about takeoff, about landing. The two areas I hate, takeoff and landing. I never just like that at all. Okay, that's the contact there on the screen. Let me go through very quickly. He's Mr. Godwin N. Ike. Oh, I've called him Goddy Ike for long. So it's Godwin. Okay, his telephone number is there at 080 6822995 and 0803 30746. You have his email. You can email him at goddyike@yahoo.com. The website is there, www.aviationfreak.com. YouTube channel, Aviation Freak Official. And you have a Twitter handle at Aviation Freaks. And also the WhatsApp platform is bubbling. And I must tell you, I am part of that platform. And when you want to learn, somehow we don't fly here, but we learn how men fly and what they do when they fly. Very good morning, Mr. Goddy Ike, and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Very wonderful morning.
Thank you very much. And,
yes,
how was your weekend?
Oh, thank God, the weekend was fine. We struck July on Wednesday, on Saturday, sorry, we struck July. I got all of those calls, got everything coming in here, and today's the first working day in the month of July, and we are all looking fine. This is the first one when we talk aviation in the month of July, the second half of the year. Let's quickly move over now to what we have been discussing with my colleague, Mr. Joseph Kadri, on we share our pilot, our greatest nightmare. When men stay behind the wheel and they are driving on the road, sometimes they don't want to see potholes, they don't want to see, some of them who don't got good papers anyway, we don't want to see the VI on the road safety. Some of them don't even want to see, we don't want when it rains here and you can't see clearly so much. But when men fly as pilots, they also got challenges here, and I'm going to be starting off with Mr. Goddy Ike on some very all-important issue here. But somehow on the platform, while we all, what we do on the platform, on the WhatsApp platform, is to bring our questions, bring our issues to the fore, and we've got Mr. Goddy Ike that will give us all the answers to what we need here, and some issues we are asked. One of them is the issue of Mayday, and why is it the distress call?
Oh, well, let me very quickly correct something I just saw on the screen. We're actually dealing with Pilot's Greatest Nightmare Part 3 and the final part. So let's have what we have on the screen corrected quickly. It's part 3, not part 2. We did part 2 last week. Yeah. Now, talking about, by the way, my great viewers, welcome to the program. Welcome to the program. Right. I got this question about Mayday from and you know, the person started very humbly and said, "It may sound childish, but please," and all the way from the US actually, the person who got on the forum and asked that question, you know, sent in from Houston, Texas, and said, "Tell us exactly why Mayday?" Oh, well, of course, I answered. Well, yes. Now, you see, this happened way back, and by the way, it's spelled together, M-A-Y-D-A-Y, as one word. If you separate them as May and they, totally, yeah, that's correct. It's totally different thing. And so M-A-Y-D-A-Y as one word. Now, it was in 1923, way back in 1923, in Croydon, London. They had regular flights running between Croydon and Le Bourget airport in Paris, France. Le Bourget airport. And then one senior radio officer by name Frederick Stanley Muckford, I always call him FSM. Okay. Frederick Stanley Muckford. He was then the senior radio officer, and they had concerns. What kind of name should we have, as a distress call that all pilots and ground crew would understand? Way back in 1923, and that intelligent, officer thought about it. Most of the flights were running Croydon to Le Bourget airport in France, and he wanted something that would be understood by English-speaking people and at the same time the French-speaking people. And then the word Mayday, which is a short form of Venez m'aider in French, meaning come and help me. Venez m'aider. That's the meaning.
Okay, it has a French origin.
That's right.
Well, it looks totally English.
But yes, Venez m'aider. Now, if you know how it's spelled in French, or if I still remember my French a little bit, Venez is V-E-N-E-Z, or Z, as you may want to pronounce it. And then m'aider will be M apostrophe, I think it's A-I-D-E-R, something like that. So when you say Venez m'aider, you're saying to somebody, come and help me. And if you put s'il vous plaît to it, s'il vous plaît, venez m'aider, it means please come and help me. So the man now put it all together, and the short form of it is Mayday. And then he used the English version of M-A-D-A-Y to say Mayday. And then it was immediately accepted, by the aviation community. And then, but it has to be mentioned during distress. It has to be mentioned 3 times. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. By a pilot that is in trouble, life-threatening distress. And he wants all the people in the control tower, ground crew, and his fellow pilots flying around the zone to understand that he's experiencing a life-threatening situation. And so once he says it 3 times at a go, Mayday, 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 everybody understands that that particular plane sending out that signal is in distress. So that is the history of Mayday and how it came about in aviation.
Okay, that's nice. Sometimes you need to follow through and know your history and know it very quickly. Right. Yeah. Okay, now let's go on now to Windshear Pilot Greatest Nightmare. Part 3 is what we've been looking at this one. Are we starting on Microbox? Or?
Yeah, let's refresh our memory because I do understand that people who are not aviation freaks like us very often.
No, not like us, not like you. You are. We're not here.
Right, very well. Let's get the Microbus 2 so that we refresh our memories about what we're discussing about Windshear. Get us that photograph so that we'll refresh the memory of our.
Okay, we'll go back to my. Windshear Microbox. Okay.
No, this is not the photo. The other one, Microbus 2. Please get us the other photo that will give us an idea of. And by the way, while they are sorting out the photographs, Windshear simply means a sudden change of speed and direction of wind. That is a generic Windshear on its own is a generic word, generally described. Yes, that's the photo we want. Just keep it on the screen while I complete explanation to Atta about Windshear. Anytime there is a change of speed and direction of wind, is known as Windshear. So that's generic. Now, microburst, as you're looking at in this picture on the screen, is one of the very dangerous phenomena that create wind shear. It comes directly vertically during thunderstorm from the skies at terrific speed and hits the ground, then spread out in all directions. All right.
What's the cause of this? Is it the lightning? It's lightning, because I know when lightning comes, it splits the air, and when the air comes back,
you can ask again why.
Because the geographers will need to explain something.
Yes, you can also ask why tornado, because this is an opposite of tornado. Tornado moves horizontally, clearing everything on his path as he moves horizontally. Now this is opposite of it. This one comes all the way vertically at terrific speed. Hits the ground and spread out just as you are looking at in that photograph. And look at the poor pilot, coming in nicely, to land. Innocently, because he hasn't been warned. Maybe the equipment set up along the path of approach and the runway missed out the alarm that he should give and signal he should give to the pilot to understand that there is a setting of microburst. Then the pilot now, continues to, haven't deployed all his landing flaps, maintained a landing speed of, say, maybe depending on the site.
The passengers, fasten your seatbelt.
That's correct.
Landing in the next 4 or 5 minutes. We'll be at the airport. Get your luggage. Don't open the cabin on top of you, and whatever. Those nice voices.
Or the nice voices, and then everything is going on smoothly. And then it maintain a speed of about 150 or 170 knots, depending on the size of the aircraft. And then what do you find? The outflow facing the aircraft gives it a sudden headwind, tips up the nose of the aircraft, drives it over, and increase suddenly the speed, the speed of the aircraft. And then the pilot panics because he needs to touch down at a set speed designed for that aircraft. If you do more, you may break your undercarriages and land crash. If you do less, you may sink faster than necessary, and then touch down before the threshold of the runway. So either way, you are in trouble. And then the poor pilot,
that means he needs precision.
He needs precision. And then the poor pilot now sees that his plane is now moving at a greater speed, not knowing that he's up against microburst. He quickly pulls back on his power stick to reduce speed. And suddenly he leaves the region of that outflow facing him. I'm talking about the pilot now, and which is giving him a headwind and has increased his airspeed. He gets into the vertical. That's why it's usually called a three-dimensional phenomenon.
Okay.
Right. You see the vertical flow coming up all the way from the sky. He now leaves this region of headwind, gets into the middle, and gets a hard push, vertical push.
Pushing it down.
He sees that he's sinking, and usually you follow your glide slope as you're heading to touch down on the threshold of the runway. Because if you follow the glide slope, it terminates you at the threshold and you touch down nicely. Now he finds himself below the glide slope. And the only way to correct that is to get some power and then pull a little bit on your joystick and lift the aircraft back to the slope. But here is a challenge. An average jet engine takes about 6 seconds to respond to power demand.
Before then, you will touch the ground.
No, those are six.
How close you are?
Those are 6 light years. Too long to help you. As the pilot now pushes back his throttle stick to get some power, it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As the engine, hums and hums to give him the thrust he's looking for. Those are 6 light years. Too long to help. And then what happens next? he crosses the region of the vertical, usually called downdraft. That's the name of that, given to that vertical push.
Okay.
And then he ends up on the other floor as a tailwind. Now he has crossed. That drives the final nail to the coffin. You know what happens?
No.
The plane is now flying at a very slow speed. It's sinking below the glide slope, and then it gets this hard push by a strong, outflow of microburst wind, which is the wind shear. And what happens? It gets out of the way and crashes. Most crashes near the airports are as a result of effect of microburst creating wind shear. All right. So I've given a summary that our viewers would.
Okay, we're going now to wind shear part 3 now.
Yes, we stopped at clip 9. Let's quickly take another look at clip 9. Quickly run through our clips, and if we have more time, we'll discuss other issues arising. Give us clip 9 quick, because that was the last we had. Wind shear effect on aircraft flight. All right. Thunderstorms, just like you were trying to find out, the other time. I mean, this should be able to answer your question. Thunderstorms create strong outflow known as microburst. That's just what you've just seen a moment ago. Microburst is a three-dimensional wind velocity just above ground level to an aircraft making its final approach for landing. This outflow initially causes a headwind that increases nose lift and airspeed increase, which normally causes a pilot to reduce engine power. If he is unaware, he is up against wind shear. By the way, a lot of experienced pilots, may suspect that they are up against wind shear when the plane begins to behave funny as they are coming into land. And what they usually do is quickly slam on the throttle stick, get power as quickly as they can, bust or rather abort the landing, pull up and struggle back into the air, and try to make a turnaround and try again. If you successfully do that, then you run away from. Otherwise, usually, if you don't, you are doomed. You will crash. Now, let's go on with what we're reading. I stopped at...
for landing, this outflow initially causes a headwind that increases nose lift and airspeed. And airspeed increase which normally causes a pilot to reduce engine power if he or she is unaware is up against the wind shear. As the aircraft passes into the region of the windcraft, downdraft, the headwind disappears, thereby instantly reducing the aircraft, thereby reducing, am I correct? The aircraft airspeed and increases its sink rate.
Yeah.
When the aircraft passes through the other side of the wind draft, the downdraft, the headwind becomes a tailwind, reducing lift generated by the winds and leaving the aircraft in a low power, low speed descent. That is the singular cause of crashes associated with wind shear.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a summary.
But this one looks a little bit more, it looks more like a multi-dimensional problem here. You're solving one, the other one is coming here.
That's correct.
I'm through with the wind from the back, or something pushing me, and something's coming from on top, and at all times, how would they settle all of this?
Well, it's that's why you need to set up along approach parts of every runway, approach and takeoff part of every runway, the low level wind shear alert systems. We're going to see that. Get us clip 10. Let's move quickly. Get us clip 10 so that my viewers will see, wind shear effect on aircraft, continues.
Okay.
2 unforgettable crashes caused by microburst and its horizontal wind shear include Delta Airlines Flight 191 crashed on August 2, 1985 in Dallas, Texas, USA, which killed 137 passengers out of 152 passengers on board. There's another one, and as a matter of fact, the picture to the right is the real life crashed body of that Delta airline. That's what you're looking at on the picture on the right. The picture on the left is the particular plane that crashed just before it took off. You know, that's the plane. Right, on the left, the Delta Airlines. Then number 2, Pan American Boeing 727 departing New Orleans International Airport on July 9th, 1982. All 145 passengers on board died, including 8 victims on the ground. Clip 11, so that we'll see how pilots can really get early. This is where your earlier question is going to be answered. The low-level wind shear alert systems. I always call it LLWAS.
Okay, that's an abbreviation.
Yes, LLWAS. This equipment measures average surface wind speed and direction using a network of remote sensor stations installed near runways and along approach and departure corridors at an airport. You got that? Then, apart from wind shear, which is a generic term for wind differences over an operationally short distance, the equipment can also measure associated phenomena such as gust fronts. I'm going to explain that very quickly. Microbursts, vertical shear, and derechoes. Gust shear is when you're talking about a very strong wind on a linear, path. Yes. So that is the word used to describe such kind of winds. Now, is it clip 12?
It's clip 11 if I'm right now. If we're at clip 11. Okay, it's clip 11.
That's right, because we're not done with it yet. So, LLWAS, which is low-level wind shear alert system, where it is installed, determine whether calm, steady winds, wind shift in relation to runways, wind gusts, divergent winds, suggesting shear, or strong and sustained divergent winds.
The installation now, is it on the runway, or is it on the plane?
No. There is a monitor on the plane that also gets information and an alarm from the installations. They are usually installed, like you saw when we were reading through, they are usually installed approach and departure corridors of all airports and runways. The whole idea is that they measure the speed of wind and direction, and then as soon as the parameters meet what describes wind shear, be it microburst, vertical or horizontal, whatever, once it meets the parameter set with those equipment, it triggers off an alarm, which the pilot also receives.
Only the pilot?
No. Even those in the control tower.
I mean within the plane now.
Oh yes, within the plane.
If we get it at the back, we're going to shout you.
No, only the pilots in the and flight engineers in the cockpit will know. And it's the good thing is that where it's installed, once the alarm is received, the pilot is at alert, so that if anything unusual begins to happen, he knows what to do. Or, for instance, during a microburst, if a pilot approaching for landing is aware that there is a wind shear going on, if his airplane, gets a sudden lift and increase in speed, he won't go reducing his power, because he already knows what he's up against. He won't reduce his power. He will leave it where it is, and then if he gets that vertical push that gets him sinking, then he knows that, hey, I've got microburst, coming at me. He pushes a little further his power throttle to increase power, announce to the control tower, listen, even though I have passed my decision height and made up my mind I was going to land, this is too dangerous, I'm not landing, I am going back up in the air. And usually the people in the control tower will give, because everything in aviation is about safety, safety, safety. Nothing comes between the three safety words. You know, so they let him do what he needs, to do to save the situation, at the time. And so he gets back into the air and make another approach trial. And of course, within the period, those at the airport will monitor, because usually it's for a short time. We share sometimes lasts about 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Microburst.
Within that time that the microburst occur, it's more deadly than even like what you call 6, 7, 8 years, even 1,000 years.
That's correct. That's correct. So it's important to have the low level.
But do we have these equipments in Nigeria here? Do we have them?
Joe asked me.
Do we have them? Or are we just going to go through them here? We are going to go through them here. We are taking a nice lecture. The aviation guys who are the travelers and those who are in aviation are watching us now. They are happy. Do we have them or do we need them?
I'll give you an answer.
Don't wait until when it is done and we'll say, oh, somebody came to ITV and said it before. Do we have them?
I'll give you the same answer I gave Joe, and we had a raw on air, live raw on air. My answer, very well, my answer remains. My business as a freak of aviation, doling out all the information that my fellow Nigerians and indeed other foreigners are living in Nigeria need to know, and indeed the world, because this is going out to the entire world actually. My business is to do all this information, by the way, free of charge, and of course, your airtime is costing me a lot of money. Now, I expect that investigative journalism should then key in. A lot of journalists out there are watching. I expect that concern for your nation, just as I'm doing this as my contribution to safety in aviation and contribution to the greatness of my nation. That's all I'm doing. I'm not earning a dime from this thing I'm doing, and I am having fun doing it. I enjoy it, and I am saying, journalists, constitute yourselves into investigative journalism. Go and find out from the Ministry of Aviation, FAAN, and NCAA. Go and ask them, do we have installations that announce to pilots that they have wind shear in place, they have microburst in place? Find out, get an answer, and then if they lie to you, then you come back to me. I have a way of finding out if they told you the truth or they lied to you. But
it's an assignment. We'll take it as an assignment here.
That's correct.
We'll take it as an assignment.
That's correct.
So we're done with part 3 now?
No, 12, please. Let's have clip 12 very quickly and then conclude. Clip 12. Yes. Low-level wind shear alarm system continues. Now, by airline rules, pilots must avoid microburst if warnings are issued by an automated wind shear detection system and must wait until a safe time interval passes to assure departure or landing conditions are safe. You see what I told you about safety in aviation is number one. Nothing comes between the three: safe, safe, safe. Safety, safety, safety. Nothing comes in between. Number one all the time. Now, for the performance of the airframe, low-level wind shear alert system, wind shear and microburst alerts assist. That is the LL-WAS wind shear and microburst alerts assist pilots during busy times on final approach. You see how because approach for landing is a very busy time for pilots. Just as takeoff is also busy time. The two most dangerous aspects of flying.
I don't love them, particularly takeoff.
Keep with clip 12, so I will conclude that quickly. Then LM was wind shear and microburst allows assist pilots during busy times on final approach and on departure, especially when heavy traffic, low ceilings, obstruction to vision, and moderate to heavy precipitation add to the difficulty in determining in just a few seconds whether mountain wind and weather hazards should be risked or avoided. Sometimes pilots risk them if the strength is being calculated.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Do wind shear only occur our affect plane at landing? What about takeoff?
But not, well, you saw it there. It's both takeoff and landing. As a matter of fact, I remember there was a time we had a crash in Abuja here. I'm trying to remember that airline.
My good friend, Senator Sule Yari Gandhi died. I was thinking of Sokoto.
That's correct.
Because Senator Mashido also, Senator Mashido was there, Senator Sule Yari Gandhi was there.
And of course, the Sultan was also in that airplane, for instance. I mean, it's only wind shear that can do things like that. Apart from engine failure, if you know during takeoff engines are blasting at the full capacity, and if those engines have issues, and just as you haven't attained about 5,000 feet above sea level and you hear bump, either one or two pack up. There is no power to keep that airplane in the skies. The only thing it does is begins to flutter like a bird that a little boy used a catapult to break one of his wings, and you see it fluttering and fluttering and end up dropping to the terrain. So the same way you can be taken off and run into wind shear. I mean microburst rather, which creates a wind shear. You run into microburst, it increases your angle of attack beyond acceptable limit. Just as you are passing through that region of headwind, the hard vertical push sends you back to the terrain. And as you're fluttering, remember, you haven't gained enough speed. As you're taking off, if you were at a speed of 500 knots, yes, if you're at a speed of 500 knots as you're cruising in the skies and you run into microburst, it won't even do anything to you. It will only give you a little bit of undulation and you pierce through like a spear, all right? But on takeoff, you're barely doing 150, 200 knots, or even much less. And then suddenly, this hard push comes at you. More often than not, pilots lose control and crash. Most crashes near airports are as a result of wind shear.
So thank you very much for coming. We thought we could do some more talk, but we cannot do that now. We'll be ending that. What do we have? What will come next Monday?
Oh, thank you for remembering to ask this question. We're going to have awesome series that would be known as aviation safety or aviation security, whichever way you want to look at it. But I want to call it aviation safety. It's so huge and awesome. Everything that anyone that is involved in aviation needs to know about safety. We may do up to part 4 to exhaust it. It's huge.
Okay, we start part 1.
Sorry, my dear. By the time we are done with the series on aviation safety that is going to start from next Monday, you journalists will have a lot of job to do, finding out from Ministry of Aviation how much of those safety issues that they have taken care of around our airports in the nation is huge. It's awesome. And I urge my great viewers, never miss the series on aviation safety for anything. Don't miss it. Especially if you fly. It will help you help those that are flying you to do the right things and behave well at the airport so that we can all stay safe. All right? All right? So that's it.
Okay, so that's it. Come on the 10th of July, 7:30 a.m. on your darling station, Independent Television, Star Time Channel 130, conventional terrestrial free-to-air broadcasting platform, UHF 42, and on the digital terrestrial broadcast, on the digital platform, digital platform, new digitalization process platform. We are on channel 505 here. You'll be following us through on Monday as we look at general aviation safety. Instead, we'll be taking number 4 series. So we may be running through that, maybe hitting part of August. If we'll run through that. We've got one Monday now. Maybe we've got 4 more Mondays in the month of July. When we run through that, then we would be navigating through and keeping you adequately informed. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Goddy Ike.
Thank you, Atta.
Thank you very much. You can follow him on the platforms I explained earlier. Call them on the phone. Discuss with him. Okay, that's what you got there. The website is there. The YouTube channel is there. Twitter handle is there. The email address is there. Very simple one. GoddyIke@yahoo.com. The phone numbers are just there. You can speak with him. He loves to do this, and he is an aviation evangelist. Someone called him that. I believe that. Okay, we'll take a break very quickly. When we come back from the break, the federal government is talking about a massive exportation of food. Agriculture Minister Chief Audu Ogbe actually threw some bombshell last week Wednesday at the Federal Executive Council at the Aso Rock Presidential Villa. He said, look, the government, as of last week, have shipped the first yam load to the United Kingdom and the United States. And many persons are already worried. He said India is already looking for beans. And they're going to storm Nigerian market for a massive beans mop-up. Some will say, do we have enough beans here? If India with their billion need our beans, then we may be in crisis. He said even Senegal, Dakar, is asking for yam. The cashew nuts, the US want it very much. Now we can't process, so we send them via Vietnam to process for the US market. And almost everything is needed now. What is now left for the home front? After the break, Juliet Tangia will be on set to take our next guest on that issue on massive importation. The program continues.